So before we dive in, would you just tell me a little bit about what you do?
You mean just being a general practitioner?
Yeah. So you're a veterinarian, small animal GP.
Correct. So we see cats and dogs. We do a whole broad spectrum of specialties. We do dermatology, ophthalmology, surgery, um, preventative care, behavioral consults. We've had a lot of those lately with the pandemic. Um, we do hospice care, end-of-life care, all that type of stuff. Pretty much most of it's in our wheelhouse.
And so when we first connected, you had started putting feelers out, contemplating making a change in terms of the practice that you were at. So what was the main reason you were really looking for a new position if you think back to when we first started chatting?
Well, corporate changed their tune because they hit the 2-year mark, and that's where I was told from a couple of my classmates that you'll see a negative change, and they were not wrong. Um, so it was more that you were a number and not a person, and that's not how I want to continue my career. So it was time for a change at that point.
And so remind me, where were you in your search before starting to work with us on the interview process?
I feel like I was maybe 2 months into it or so. I'm trying to think well, let me think, because no, maybe a little longer, because I think I started looking in March, and then I stopped for a little bit, and then I think back in June I started up again, just because it just it wasn't going to improve, so it was
You
time to
realized
leave.
things weren't, yeah, they weren't getting any better.
No, they were getting worse.
And so when we started working together, you had a couple of offers. What would you say ultimately led you to choose the job that we presented over any of the other opportunities you had?
Well, honestly, I think one of the main things was you, because you kept in communication. You could answer all my questions. Um, I felt like some of the other recruiters, and these were corporate, just either didn't know the answers, couldn't um, keep in contact. And the one that offered a job right before you did, or at the same time, one of them, it was less than 12 hours later, she contacted me and she's like, oh, we're just going to move somebody over to that location. Let's find you something else. And I felt like that was very unprofessional.
Mhm.
Um, so that left me kind of a bad taste, being like, okay, well, if this is how you are before I even join your corporation, what's going to happen when I join? How many times are you going to change your mind on things that you've told me? So that was one thing. Um, but I think ultimately everything I was looking for offered without me even really having to ask for it.
Which is always
So
amazing, right?
it was very shocking, actually. So
So our goal is to match, right, candidates like you with really great opportunities that actually align to what you share you're looking for. So would you describe kind of what the experience was like working with us to help match you with that job opportunity?
I thought it was very easy. It was less stressful than I anticipated. Again, there was a lot of communication, which was very appreciated, and you very much listened to what I was looking for, just so you weren't like, oh, well, they don't have everything you're looking for. Why don't you look at these people? You were like, no, let me find you the right fit to begin with. Um, that way we weren't playing a game, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, we do not like to play games because then it becomes a
No, and I'd
waste, right,
rather
of
not.
time.
It's a waste of time. It's a waste of everybody's time.
So what would you say when you think back now, you're, goodness, 3 full months into your new opportunity, which is wild that
It
we're
is
even talking
wild.
about it now. So what would you say was kind of the biggest benefit to you from partnering with us through the kind of interview and offer negotiation and all of that?
Well, I didn't have to do it by myself. I had a partner. I had somebody who was on my side looking out for my interests as well. You weren't discounting what I was looking for, and I didn't have to do it by myself. Um,
That's
so
awesome.
I think that's
Yeah, we wanted it to be win-win at the end of the day, right?
exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, the market is crazy in vet med right now. So would you recommend beyond just you to any other person like you who's looking for a new opportunity? And if so, why?
Well, I think if you're looking for a privately owned practice, it might be easier to find a recruiter that can help you find those versus like a corporate recruiter because there aren't that many privately owned anymore. And a lot of these practices are selling to corporate. Like my old boss, he didn't tell me he was planning on selling, and that was one of the things I brought up to him when I was interviewing is that I did not want to work for corporate, and he knew he was selling
Mm,
when he hired me. So that was a big thing because I was not wanting to work for a corporation, seeing as what it's done to human medicine. It's definitely transitioning into veterinary medicine. We're seeing it day in and day out, and it's ultimately probably going to destroy this industry.
well,
Um,
what's the hashtag Save Private? That's,
yeah,
our specialty is working with the private practices. So it sounds like for a candidate who wants and desires to be within a private practice, you would recommend working with us because that's what we do. We work with private practices versus somebody
well,
maybe who wants to go the corporate route.
you also might know of ones that aren't necessarily putting out advertisements. She put it on one of our Facebook groups, our veterinary Facebook group. Like, but
Mhm.
if I wasn't in that group, I never would have known about it. So, some of those just don't can't afford to put it out there, or they've put it out there for a while and they're like, we're not getting any hits, so why keep doing it? And those might be great practices. So having a recruiter that might be able to put more feelers out for them, I think, is a good idea, so they can compete with corporations.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're here for. So, is there anything else you would add about kind of your time working with us to land in the opportunity that you're in now?
Just there's tons of us out there looking for you, Michaela.
I want to
Want me
find them all. Feel free to send them my way. I will
I'm
help
telling
everybody
you,
I can.
there are so many unhappy veterinarians in this field. A ton of them are leaving. And I think if they had these opportunities, they would. I mean, ultimately, I do want to leave veterinary medicine. I want to teach at some point, potentially. But there are so many out there, even new grads, who are just giving up already. And it makes me sad.
Yeah,
They, I mean, we worked so hard to get here and what we thought it was going to be, and to have that bubble burst. I mean, this is, as the BI rep pointed out, it's a unicorn clinic, and if you have those that are looking, you've got to find those vets that want it
I know.
because they're
I
burning
know.
out. They're burning out.
That is our mission, is to help as many people like you as possible because I mean I'm a fur mom. They're my babies and I want to make sure that there's great places to take them, and when it comes to the candidates that we get the opportunity to work with, our mission is to make sure that there's fulfillment, not just professionally. And what I've found in speaking with a lot of candidates like you who ended up in corporate, whether you wanted to or not, is some people lose faith that there really are great private practices out there that want the best for their team. And you found that, right? You called it a unicorn practice. You found that, and,
Right.
and there are many others just like that. And so our mission is to do our little part to save the industry in any way that we can by helping people find more fulfillment professionally and personally. Like when that can really align, that's when you're making magic happen, in my opinion.
Right. Right. And I mean, I have worked private practice that wasn't a great one, so it's not like there aren't bad ones out there, but
Right, yeah. I mean,
I think there
there
aren't that
are
many
good
great
ones
ones.
out there.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. I know you are so busy, but you found such a great opportunity that aligned with your family needs, and I'm so happy to have been a
Yeah.
part of that story and just wanted to congratulate you again and appreciate you being willing to share your experience working with us so that other people like you can trust us that we've got their best interest in mind.
Well, I couldn't have done it without you, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Like, I was ready to walk out of this field. Like, no matter what it was going to cost me, I was ready to leave.
And you're
So,
feeling different now, right?
I do feel different now, yes.
Yay!
Definitely feel
Good. Well,
different.
let's keep it that way.
Yep.